or 9? Come. So, yeah, that related to Yahweh Shah as well, that a child is subject to his parents when he's young, even if he's to become a great man and a leader, right? When he grows up. Now, that's pretty much what I had on, as far as the children goes, and how the Israelites need to clean up their households by keeping up the commandments of the Most High, right? Using the scriptures as a blueprint on how to live, right? The example is Yahweh Shai, the prophets, and then keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, so you can live. Now I just want to go and get into some general overall words of wisdom, right? So let's get that in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, and we're just going to read 8 to 17, right? This is just some good stuff, right, that we need to adhere to as the Most High's chosen children, nation of Israel, and then I'm gonna close it up from that and close out from there.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 8. He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh in heads, a serpent shall bite him.
Right. You gotta be careful about where you're going and what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You need to know what you're getting yourself into. Okay. Also, you shouldn't be trying to set traps for people, right? Vengeance is the Most High's. And until he make us that battle axe, until he turns us into hunters, we fishermen right now. Right? So you should be putting your energy and time into learning these scriptures and these breakdowns and how to deliver them properly and teach, right? Rightly dividing the word so that we, won't be ashamed or make Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, won't be a bad representation for them. I say that. All right. Let's read on.
Verse 9. Whoso removeth stones shall be hurt therewith, and he that cleaveth wood shall be endangered thereby.
Right. You gotta understand your surroundings and what you're dealing with, and you gotta take those necessary precautions, right? Because nobody's outside of the scope of potential harm, right? You're living here on this wicked and harsh planet, right? And particularly if you're in America, right, where anything goes, you gotta watch yourself. It kind of goes back into the article, in the news that just happened where the young Israelite brother got shot in the back by a damn heathen. But he was working amongst stones and around wood, and he didn't take into consideration that he was putting himself in danger by carrying a gun around. You know what I'm saying? Acting as a grown man without the know-how. Too big for his britches, if you will. Okay? Not saying that justifies what happened to him, but we just gotta be accountable for ourselves and our actions. And he was 14 years old, a child, brain not fully formed yet. So his parents had to feel the pain on that, right? And they getting some of that judgment, because somewhere they dropped the ball, right, on the parenting. All right, and so we was teaching today about saving the Israelite children, and we got to do that through proper guidance and teaching, right? Let's read on.
Verse 10. If the iron be blunt, and he do not whet the edge, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct.
Right. So, if you're using tools, make sure your tools is ready. If you chopping wood, make sure your axe is sharp, or you're gonna work yourself to death. You just gotta use wisdom in whatever you're doing and prepare yourself. You gotta be prepared. Right? Go ahead.
Surely the serpent will bite without enchantment, and a babbler is no better.
Right. you gotta be careful who you put yourself around. You want to hang around gangsters and thugs. Don't be surprised when they rob you, shoot you, or get you caught up in something that's gonna get you locked up, right? But you thought it was fun and cool, because you were popular. Everybody was knowing your name and everything. Yeah, but for all the wrong reasons. Okay, read on.
The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is mischievous madness.
Right. You just gotta watch what you say. You shouldn't be a vain babbler and just running your mouth all the time, gossiping this and that. You're gonna tell on yourself. You're gonna put yourself in harm's way. You're gonna offend somebody. You just gotta use wisdom in things you do and things you say. Right? Go ahead.
A fool also is full of words. A man cannot tell what shall be and what shall be after him. Who can tell him? The labor of the foolish worrieth every one of them, because he knoweth not how to go to the city. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child, and thy princes eat in the morning. Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season.
Right. So, in how you raise your child, take care of them, you have to have some restraint. You got to be able to tell them no sometimes, right? Otherwise, they're not going to be fit to lead and have their own family, right? Go ahead.
Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. By much.
That's good.
What is it? Yeah.
So, hey, hopefully you got something out of the lesson. We got to do better by our children, Black, Hispanic, Native Indian, Seminole Indian, right? Puerto Rican, Haitian man, West Indian man. Got to do better with our women and children, right? Because our women are running amok out here, and they ain't doing their children they could be doing better, right? So, but ultimately, as a whole, we gotta come back to the statutes, commandments, and laws of the Most High, right? Have the faith in Yahweh Shai, clean up our act, separate ourselves from this wicked society, emotionally, spiritually, and ceremonially, right? Stop doing Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, right? And so on and so forth. Our children need to see that we're separate from everybody else, right? Otherwise, your words ain't gonna carry no weight when you say, when you start trying to teach them the scriptures, right? Which you should be doing as well. All right, so hey, with that, I say peace and blessings to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Woe to the other nations, giving, of course, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And I say Kwame Yashala, death to America.
Death to America. Good job.